Hi guys, you are welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, you are welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, you are welcome. Please, today we are coming to sew this trendy pencil skirt or slit with a 2 pleats in front with a zipper at the back. So if that's what you want to learn, then let's get right into the video. You fold your wax print into 2, then you iron it well, then you get the center or the middle, then you fold it again, then you measure 4 inches. So when you open the 4, it will be 8. So that's the interval between the slits. So the pleat will go to the left, then one will go to the right. I hope I make sense. So that's the line there. So you measure 1 inch outwards, not inward. When you measure 1 inch inward, the interval will be 6 inches, but you measure it outwards. I hope you understand what I mean. So you can see I've measuring 4 inches before the one where my finger is. So you measure 1 inch. So in all, when you fold it and you want to get it where my finger is to the middle part, will be 5 inches. Then you remove 1 inch, or you pin the 1 inch, so it will remain 4 inches. I hope I make sense. So you do the same thing at the both sides. One will go to the left, then one will go to the right in the middle part of the slit before you shape your skirt. I hope I make sense. So I'm measuring. I've finished the other side, so I'm doing the this one. So after that, before I will shape my skirt, the other time, the one I did with the rope, you guys were complaining I didn't show where I started the pleats. That's why today I'm showing you how I did, or how I make the pleat. So the pleat is 1 inch. It depends on how you want yours. If you want it a little bigger, you can do it 1.5 or 2 inches, but this one is 1 inch. So this is it. You can see the pleat is in the middle, then the line will be in the center. So this is it. I'll finish pinning it. I'll take it to the machine, then I'll stitch it, then I'll bring it for us to input the measurement, then we cut our skirt. So I finished sewing it. So I'm folding it into 2 and see if the lines meet each other, so that one will not be crooked. So I've cutting everything the way I want it. They are facing each other. So I've measured the 4, you can see. So when I open it, it will be 8 inches. So this is how you do it. Then the pleat, you iron it. One will go to the left, then the other one will go to the right. So now I'll folded it into 4. I want to input my measurement before I cut my skirt. So the skirt length is 43. That's what I'm marking there. I want the border to be at the bottom of the skirt. So 43. Then I'll mark it and cut it off before I input the measurement. So 43, and I added 1 inch sewing allowance for the hem at the bottom part. So I'm cutting the excess one at the top. If you want to use the border, then you cut the excess one at the top, but if you don't like the border, you can short it at the bottom part so that you remove the border from the wax print. So you go down by 1 inch. That's what I'm marking there. I went down by 1 inch, then I connect it to the hip line at the side, upper part of the hip. Then I'll measure from the, I'm inputting my measurements. The waist is 32. Then I'll add that 1 inch. Then I'll add the sewing allowance 1.5 or 2 inches at the side. Then I mark. Then I'll measure from the waist to the hip 10 inches. Then I'll input the measurement I'm working with. I'm working with hip 43. Then I'll add my sewing allowance. So that's what I'm marking there. Then I'll connect the waistline to the hip. or to the hip, to the from the waist to the hip. I'm using my free hand. Then I'll connect the hip to the lower part. You go in by 2 inches. Then you connect that line, you taper it to the hip. I hope you understand, or you shape it to the hip, because this is not straight. You have to shape it. The bottom part have to be a little smaller than the hip. So that's what I'm marking there. After that, then I'll cut it. Then I'll cut my lining. So I'm cutting the excess fabric at the side. So this is the 1 inch I went in at the waist. You have to short the front, so the front will be shorter than the back, the skirt. So I'm shaping it, or I'm cutting the excess fabric at the side. So after that, I'll mark my dart at the waist. Then I'll cut my lining. Then I'll take it to the machine. I will sew everything separately. I will sew the wax print separately. Then I will sew the lining too separately. I hope I make sense. After that, I'll use the lining to turn the waist. After turning the waist, then I'll join both the lining and the cloth together at the zipper line before I fix my zip. Then we slit the back of the skirt. So I'm notching my dart. The dart is 1 inch. The dart intake is 1 inch, and the length of the dart, the front is 5.5 and the back is 6 inches. So I'll take it to the machine. Then I'll sew the dart and bring it for us to shape the skirt. Then we continue from there. So I want to remove the border at the bottom part, not the border, the big border, the white edge here, the white edges at the bottom part. That's what I'm cutting there. So I have my border at the bottom part. So I'll now cut the lining off camera. So I'll finish cutting the lining. The lining is the one at the bottom part, then the fabric is at the top. So I've notched my dart. I will take it to the machine and sew the dart. The front is 5.5 and the back is 6 inches. So let me take it to the machine and I'll sew it and bring it for us to see. That's the zipper line. The zipper line is 1.5 inch. Then the zip will be 10 inches. Where I'll fix the zip, it will be 10 inches. So I'll finish sewing my darts. All the time when I finish sewing my darts, I top stitch the darts, both the lining and the main fabric. So that's the pleat in the front. The that is under the pleat. It's not together. The dart is different and the pleat too is different. So this is the lining to our finish. So I will shape the lining separately, then I will shape the wax print differently, then I will turn it to the waist, then I will join both the wax print and the lining together at the zipper line. Then I'll leave my zip allowance the way I want it. I want it 11 or 12, I've forgotten. Then I'll slit the bottom part, I think 20 inches. So this is it. I will use the lining to turn it inside, so right side will face each other. So where the knitting or the weaving or the overlock will come will go inside, so the smooth side will face will be on your body, then the rough side will face the rough side in the skirt. I hope I make sense. So that's what I'm pinning, the right side facing each other. So that's the allowance there. So I'm pinning everything down. Always pin everything before you sew. I'm pinning it down before I sew my waist. After that, then I will sew the back and fix my zip. Then I'll weave or knit it. Then I'll hem the bottom part. Then I'll put it on my mannequin for us to see the end result. So I finished sewing the waist. When you finish sewing the waist, you top stitch it on the lining, not the main fabric, on the lining. So I'm pinning my zip line, both the fabric and the lining together. Both the lining and the fabric together. So I'll measure from the waist to the hip side, maybe 12 inches. That's where I'll fix the zip. Then I'll measure from the bottom part to upper part 20 inches. That's where I'll slit at the back. Without slitting at the back or without opening at the back, you can't walk. So you have to slit it at the back. So I'm pinning the zip line. So after pinning the zip line, I'll take it to the machine. Then I'll finish pinning it, so you can see it now. So I'll mark the zip line where I want to fix the zip. So I measured 12 inches. That's the zip where I want to fix the length of the zip. Yeah. Then I'll measure from the bottom part upwards like 20 inches. It depends on how you want yours. You can make it 22, but mine, I made it 20 inches because my client is not that tall. So 20 inches, that's what I'm slitting at the back. So I'll take it to the machine. Then I'll sew the middle. In between where I'll slit and the zipper, there will be a little something in the middle, maybe 8, 7. It depends on the length of the slit. So I'll sew that part in the where my finger is up to the zipper line. So I'll sew the middle part. Then we'll slit the bottom part. Then we fix the zip at the upper part of the skirt. So I'll go in after the zip line. I'll go in by half an inch. Then I'll connect the line to where I'll slit. I don't want the line to be straight, so that I'll shape so that if the person is wearing the skirt, the back will not be lifting up. I hope I make sense. I'll do a separate video on that for you to see what I was talking about, or what I'm talking about. So I'm pinning everything down. Now the zipper line will be a little bigger than the 1.5 I thought about. Maybe it will be 2 inches because I've added half an inch. So I'll snap that one into the zipper line. So I'll finish sewing the bottom part. I'm now going to fix an invisible zipper. So after that, then I'll overlock it. Then I'll hem the bottom part, iron it, or then I'll put it on the dress form or the mannequin for us. So this is the finished look. So if this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.